Willkommen, meine Damen und Herren. I am Gina. Did you know what I just said?
I have no idea.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, friends, and RobbyG. How are you?
Happy Wino Wednesday.
Wino Wednesday. This is my favorite day of the week, I've decided. Right? Yeah, I hope you too. Welcome, everybody. My name is Gina.
And I'm RobbyG, the professor.
The professor. And we are here today to introduce you to Austrian wine.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very excited about this because my mom is from Austria, Österreich, in other words. And this is a very interesting varietal, one that's not well known, but I'm glad that you guys want to learn about it. We're going to teach you all about Grüner Veltliner. Can you say that?
Grüner? Am I rolling my R's?
You're rolling
Grüner.
Grüner.
Veltliner.
Veltliner. Grüner
Veltliner.
That is correct.
This is like
Grüner
my
Veltliner.
high school Spanish teacher.
It totally is. It totally is. And it's such a funny word. German words are hard to say, always. But Grüner, green, is the word for green. This grape. And we're going to teach you all about that. For the people on for the first time, if you have a YouTube account, we would be happy to chat with you through YouTube, and where we will try to answer the questions as we go along. If you don't, you can just follow along on the chat and watch what's happening, and we'll try to get through it. I already see Jason, hello. Kay Evans, hello. Some of the regulars really appreciate it.
They can teach this class at this point.
Yeah, at this point, we're going to trade sides with you. One day, that's what we'll do. Why No Wednesday? You come over here, we'll just sip, and you guys do what we need to do, and it's all good. But on that note, it's going to be a little loud. Rob, our studio downtown outside, we have a helicopter. I think it's a police helicopter that's circling. Hopefully he has found, he's not looking for you. Huh?
Maybe.
That could be it. So, I need to pour the wine so that we can have a toast.
Yeah.
Rob. And you know how they say, do a cheers in German, don't you?
Is that Prost?
Prost, yes. Ein Prosit. You know that too? Okay, that's next year. But Prost.
Prost.
Cheers to everyone out there. Brianna, welcome too. George, welcome back. Appreciate it. Grüner Veltliner. Where to begin, Rob? Do you want to tell them about the plate first?
So as Gina said, there looks to be a helicopter circling downtown. So if there is any issues with hearing us with the volume, we can quickly move the studio inside or onto the other side, another balcony if we have to. But what I'll do first is give you a little rundown of the cheeses just so you know what's on your plate. And then we will kind of back up and we will talk about the wine, we will talk about Austria, and then we will taste the cheeses in order with the wine. So just to start with the cheeses, the order is going to be the same that is on your list, which is on the plastic covering. And the first cheese is the Pilota, which is this rectangular piece right here. And it's got a little bit of an off-white color, and it has a natural rind on it, but it's that triangle piece. The second one we're going to do is the Alp Blossom, and it is a skinnier, kind of a stick, and not really a triangle, more of like a rectangle piece. The rind on that one is also natural, and you may notice it's got some edible flowers and herbs on it.
Blossoms. From the Alps.
Go figure. And but it's got the same sort of coloring as the Pilota, so it does look a little bit similar to the Pilota. The third cheese we're going to do is the Fleur du Maquis, and that is a sort of medium to soft textured cheese, also with all kinds of herbs on the rind. It's got a more of a pale white color to it, and that's the Fleur du Maquis. And the fourth cheese we're going to do is this soft, gooey one that has a pinkish, orangish rind on it.
Smell that one. Woo!
And it's very pungent. So if you can't identify it by the look, then you should
smell.
Just know it's the stinky cheese, and that's called the Backsteiner.
Yes.
So those will be the four cheeses that we will be tasting, and we might as well. It's just too hard to let the cheese sit in front of you without starting to munch. So go ahead and munch on the Pilota.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that first, and then we'll back up and we'll talk about Austria, and we'll talk about the wine, and we'll just and we'll get into the cheese as well. So Pilota, the first cheese of the evening, is it's named for a game that is played in the Basque region. Yeah. So they,
Pilota.
or it's like the ball they use for this game, and it's a Basque cheese, and it's a mix of sheep and cow's milk. So
Pilota.
that's what gives it that color. Goat's milk cheeses don't have any color. They always stay white, and that's because of the fact that the beta carotene, which is the color from their feed, from the plants that they eat, it does not come through in goat's milk because it gets converted to vitamins before it comes out in the milk. But in cow and sheep's milk, the beta carotene will come out in the milk, and it will affect the color of the milk and the cheese. And so that's why many cheeses have this kind of off-white color. They don't ever get to be fully bright orange or yellow. That's a dye. That's food coloring. But
natural.
But there is a little bit of natural color to this one. There's also a natural rind, which means that the rind is edible. So eat it. It might be a little. It's going to have a little texture. It might not be your cup of tea, but it is there to be eaten. So that's up to you.
They're so good.
And
I love the rinds.
I got to try some of it.
Try it, and you got to eat the rind this time. Sometimes I even see the professor pull the rinds off and shove them in the corner. Sometimes, right? But that's okay. It's cool. Not your favorite. But do you like that one?
I've got to be in the mood for it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
Get in
okay.
the mood.
You
It's
know?
good.
Jeez, she's like yelling at me. God.
Try it with the jam jelly. Because, Kay Evans, the jam jelly, what we have today is a lemon pear jam. Yeah, so this one's just really unique. We get all these from a company called Lemon Bird. They're up in Santa Barbara.
That is
and it's
good
just
with
small
the jam.
batch. Yeah, isn't that so great? It's so bright. So it's a small batch, Lemon Bird, pear and lemon jam. So really, really good. I think it needs that tartness. And that brings me to the wine because what I found from my first sip, Rob, totally dry and very kind of minerally. The Grüner Veltliner, which I think will be good with the citrus in there and the Pilota.
So a couple of general remarks that we'll make, and I'll talk more about the Pilota, and we'll get to the other cheese too, about the Grüner Veltliner.
Well done.
Hopefully I said that better. Learning, and now motorcycles are speeding by. As Gina said, Grüner means green, and that of course just refers to the grapes on the vine. They're really a deep, kind of a darker green color. And the Veltliner, that word is actually goes back to a town in Lombardy in northern Italy.
Oh, wow.
And wine historians can't figure out why that name was connected to this wine because the wines that come from there are not the same. The grapes.
Same. Yeah.
So
and then this town that this winery is from was named Veltliner in the old ancient times.
Oh.
So is there some connection there?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know. But so that's the name or the mystery behind the name. But this is a grape that is very much connected to Austria. Austria,
100%.
Not the only place that the grape grows, but it is indigenous to Austria, and that's a place I would say it's mostly connected to. Gina has a lot of history there. In case you're wondering, a little bit of background on Austria. The biggest city is Sydney. And whoa, wait, what?
What? That's good.
I'm
okay,
sorry.
Rob, you just got me with that one, and that is good. You know what their slogan is in Austria?
I knew she'd have a heart attack with that.
Yeah, we did. That was good. The slogan is, "I am from Austria. We have no kangaroos here."
That's too bad because I have
Do you have the notes about-
I have 10 pages of notes on kangaroos, Hugh Jackman, and Kylie Minogue. So
No.
shoot, what am I going to do?
Kangaroos. You have to have mumilas, which are little marmots, and Arnold Schwarzenegger notes. This is what everyone knows about Austria.
Famous.
Wait, Mozart.
Famous Austrians.
Yes.
I'm gonna say the top. I'm gonna say 5 famous.
Don't say the bad one.
I'm gonna say 5 famous Austrians and 1 infamous, which is the opposite of famous. Okay?
Yeah, I don't want to hear about the infamous. Neither do the Austrians.
Here, okay, the one infamous one has a funny mustache. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all we're gonna say. We're gonna leave it at that.
Okay, but the 5 famous ones, I'm gonna go ahead here. She already said Arnold.
Arnold.
We've got Gustav Klimt.
Klimt.
He's one of my favorite painters.
Okay.
We have Wolfie.
Wolfie.
Amadeus Mozart.
Yes. Wolfgang.
We've got Sigmund Freud.
Freud.
And we have the 5th one is Gertrude Lowen. That's Gina's mom.
That is my mom, Gert.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, from Österreich. She's from Tyrol,
yes,
which is the mountainous near Italy region of Austria.
Yeah.
Wine, Grüner Veltliner, comes from Niederösterreich, which is Lower Austria, but it's actually in the area surrounding Vienna.
Yeah.
Which is their biggest city.
Yeah,
Truly.
and so let's to chat a little bit more about the wine and some of the cities. So Vienna is the biggest city.
Mm-hmm.
Salzburg is another bigger city, and that's where Mozart is from.
Yes.
Another big city is Innsbruck, and that is in Tyrol, where your family comes from.
Yeah.
But Austria is comprised of 9. They call them federated states, or regions is another kind of term for that. There's 4 really main regions where the wine comes from, and one is Lower Austria. And I don't know the German word for that. I'm sorry.
Niederösterreich.
Österreich. So here's one, Gina.
Yes.
The German name for Austria is Österreich, which means, these are my notes, and you're gonna like.
I'm gonna like. Okay.
Which means Eastern Realm.
Eastern Realm.
And this word was Latinized and first recorded in the 12th century. And at the time, Austria was part of Bavaria. Did you know that?
I believe it. Well, because remember the Franz Josef and that whole empire.
Well, so the
Austrian
Austro-Hungarian
Empire,
Empire was dissolved in 1919 after World War I.
Yeah.
So 1919 is when Austria became a country, along with
So
Yugoslavia
young.
and some other, like I don't know if it was the Czech Republic, but a couple other countries were formed at that time. So they just had their 100-year anniversary. So I don't know if
That's
there
so
was...
cool. All celebrations and everything last year. In Salzburg, they did have a big celebration.
They had it just in time, by the way.
They did. Exactly. Well done, Austria.
Yeah.
But that's so cool. Little Austria.
So
So good.
And
you know who else is famous from Austria, which you got to add to the list?
Hold on. Maybe I can guess.
Allow me.
Okay.
Edelweiss,
oh, yes.
Edelweiss.
By the way, I didn't know the song until 10 minutes ago, and I got here.
The song, nor the flower, hand me the flower.
But The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music, the Von Trapp family, as we have a new to the crew, Lisa Marie and Steve, also Austria, Von Trapp families, and the Edelweiss. And this, if nobody's ever seen an Edelweiss, that's what the flower looks like. It's kind of fuzzy.
It's
Kind
cool.
of,
it's really beautiful.
It's a super cool flower. You cannot pick these without supposedly going to jail. So I'm not sure how this company got these, but we have Edelweiss.
We don't want to know.
So the Von Trapps. Yes. We should have had Von Trapp, and Von Trapp cheese. We had Von Trapp last week or the week before. So Von Trapp family, everyone, actually makes a cheese called Oma, which would also be very good with the Grüner Veltliner.
And that means grandma, so it's named for the matriarch of the Von Trapp family. So there's 4 of the 9 regions or states in Austria. 4 of them are known as wine regions. Okay. And they're all in the east. Well, we've talked about one already, and that's Lower Austria. And 50% of the wine from Austria comes from that region. It's a bigger region.
That's awesome. And like I can attest, we were just in Vienna and did a wine tasting not an hour outside of Vienna. You follow the river, the Danube there, and there's just wineries up and down. Lots of Grüner Veltliner.
You would think that Lower Austria means it's like in the south, but it's not. It's in the north. It just means it's lower than the Danube River. It's right kind of on the most of wine country is on the riverbank of the Danube. There's 5 regions within the state of Lower Austria, and they're all famous wine regions in Austria. Yeah. Vienna is considered a region, but the city in Greater Vienna is within Lower Austria. It's like it's locked within.
Isn't that weird?
Lower Austria, and so there's 5 regions that are all around Vienna, and then it's its own wine region. Yeah. So they have like 1,700 acres of vineyards planted in the city itself.
That's so cool. Yeah, if you ever get the chance.
Which is really it's the only city in the world that's also a wine region.
So cool. So that's one of the 5.
Lower Austria, Vienna, Styria.
Styria, which is where Graz, that's another big city of us. That's where Arnold is from.
Oh, really?
Graz.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We actually saw his house, his birth house. Yeah.
So Styria sometimes is called, like, it's kind of hilly, and it's it borders Slovenia, but it's a lot of times people call it the Tuscany of Austria. Have you heard that?
I believe it, and I had posted a picture. It definitely looks like that, Rob. That's a great thing. And we were in Styria tasting the wines, and you can literally put 1 foot in Slovenia and 1 foot in Austria because it's right there at the border.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
We talked about Tuscany and the kind of undulating hills and how that's conducive for growing grapes and for winemaking. The other one is Burgenland.
Burgenland.
Burgenland, and that is on the east coast, and that is the least populated region, and they're known for making a lot of sweet wines. There's back to Styria for a second. So for Austria, it's like 80% of what they grow are white grapes. It's mostly white wines, dry, big, very robust white wines like this.
This is really dry. I love it. This is easy. This would go with the schnitzel.
They're also known for making great dessert or sweet wines. I should say ice wines like the Germans. They are Rieslings, and a lot of times Riesling grows with the Grüner Veltliner. There's a red grape, and it's called Blaufränkisch. Have you heard of Blaufränkisch? And it's kind of Styria is known for their Blaufränkisch.
Blaufränkisch.
And that's
table wine. That's what whenever you would see like German or Austrian table wine, it's typically that Blaufränkisch.
I wanted to give a shout out to a local urban winery that we've worked with a lot, and they're called Gianni Buonomo. They're in Ocean Beach, and we've done a bunch of tastings with them over the years, but that is like his signature grape or wine is a Blaufränkisch, inspired by the Austrian versions. And,
nice.
They grow in the States too, and he gets his grapes from the Northwest, I believe. But if you're looking to try a Blaufränkisch, try Gianni Buonomo down in Ocean Beach.
That's awesome.
To give him a shout out. So for some numbers, 80% of Austrian wines are white wines.
Okay.
The most planted grape in Austria is Grüner Veltliner, then followed by Riesling. About a third of the white wines in Austria are Grüner, and that's about 43,000 acres of land.
Austria's so small.
Yeah. So
that could be one winery in Napa.
I know, right? But known for all those things. The Grüner is
so good with the Pilota.
So it is kind of famous for pairing with food. It's known to be really food friendly. Like I said, bigger for a red wine. Peppery finish is a term that a lot of people like to, or flavor profile, has a little spicy finish. So a classic pairing, and Gina already mentioned this, is those fried, is it pork or veal?
The true Wiener Schnitzel is veal. From Wien.
Mostly it's
Vienna.
pork now though, right?
Mostly pork now. Lots of times chicken. You can do it with anything. Thin cutlet, fried and breaded. Breaded and fried.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So delicious. How many, do you remember you went, and how many did you say you ate a day?
You were
like on a 5-a-day plan?
Yeah, we were in Austria a couple of years ago. And
schnitzel with noodles?
I think I averaged about 2.5 a day. I love just fried, breaded. Delicious. But imagine a crisp, highly acidic, kind of peppery, ice cold white wine. With a Wiener Schnitzel.
Yep, and Spätzle.
And Spätzle.
And the heavy, cheesy Spätzle.
What about strudel?
Strudel, of course. Are you kidding? We'll go with anything. This is sit in the park, bottle in hand, spend the afternoon.
And you know what they say, if you want to do, because there is, Grüner is not just grown in Austria, it also is grown in Slovenia, Slovakia, Hungary. In fact, Budapest is only like 130 miles from Vienna, I think, or from the eastern part of the country. So they grow a lot of this wine as well. Also in the United States, so in the Northwest, upstate New York. And if you're looking for an American pairing, fried chicken.
Oh, that'd be so good. Grüner and
wouldn't that be
chicken.
Fun?
Yeah.
So that could be another one.
That could be another. I love it.
The other thing I came across is when I was in Vienna, I noticed that the locals call it Wein or Wien, W-I-E-N, right?
W-I-E, Wien. Yes, W-I-E-N is Wien, is Vienna in European.
So I thought maybe it meant wine.
Oh, isn't that funny? It kind of looks like vine. You could have vine in Wien.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. It means wild river.
Okay.
I looked it up for that.
You did? Okay. Why does Vienna sound like wine? Why Vienna? Very good. Well, this one, Rob, I learned from the winemaker Johannes Zillinger. These grapes, they still do Okay, do you remember the I Love Lucy stomping the grapes?
Yeah.
They still do this to this day. Is they stomp the grapes, foot stomp the grapes. It's very small production, 24,000 cases a year. And they stomp the grapes every year in August, about now. They're stomping and making this wine. So kind of interesting, right? Yeah.
Well, that's old school, you know.
It is old school.
That's the way it should be done.
And organic, all the good stuff. Easy. This is the lightest, probably white I've had. A little peppery, little green notes. Well, it's greener. That makes sense. But you know what it would go really good with too, you guys? What we put new on the plate this time are hazelnuts. Because I don't know that you know, like most places, you know, where almonds are really common on cheese plates, even walnuts and things. You rarely get hazelnuts except in Austria. Austria is huge for the hazelnuts. Yeah. So definitely try that. It's a different flavor nut. We also have almonds on there, so you can compare the two. But I love the hazelnut.
So I'm guessing that those come from Tyrol or around there, the hazelnuts, because they also come from northern. I know they're really big in northern Italy too. So when we take the groups to Piedmont, we go and do some hazelnut tourism and just eat tons of hazelnut
harvesting.
Yeah, we did. We harvested and then we had a whole meal of hazelnut. So it was like, you know, of course,
sauces, right?
Yeah,
you make
sauces
out of it.
And then chocolates at the end. It was
cookies.
So good. Everything.
They make flour out of hazelnuts. Everything out of the hazelnut.
They made
very meaty.
They made a pasta with like a hazelnut and olive oil sauce. It was incredible. It was so good.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
So, and did you talk about the other accoutrements on the plate too? Maybe we should do a rundown. So you also have green grapes, of course, because it's only fitting. Gina talked about the jam that's there. I see dried pears, which we like to do for a little sweetness. Blueberries, and then Marcona almonds, and I do see some chocolate on there.
No, save that for
sorry,
later.
I'm not going to eat it, but
you snatched it away though, so I wouldn't.
Oh, you got one on there. But what's the chocolate? Are you going to save it?
I'm going to tell you because I know you might want to nibble it with the different cheeses. So it's chocolate on the outside, but another kind of, you see it all over Europe, in France, a lot more than you do see it here, and that's marzipan. That's what you're seeing inside the cloak of chocolate is marzipan. This one happens to come from Germany. It's the most famous maker in Germany. But marzipan is essentially almond paste. It's sweet almond paste. So you can smell that. It's really, really good with cheese. It's super popular around the holidays. You see marzipan on everything. That's where if you go shopping, you've seen them, Rob, too. In the little stores, they'll have marzipan shaped like pigs and little, sausages and stuff. But it's all this almond paste candy. Super delish. Yeah, fun. So that's what that is. I think it's going to be good with the Backsteiner. So try to hold some of that for later. But
all right, so
accoutrements next. Cheese.
So we did the Pilota. But just, I mean, I guess the thing to note there is that it's French. It's the Basque region. So it's the Basque region is both in Spain and France, and this is from the French side. And it's mixed milk, which is kind of unique and kind of fun. And you get a lot of that creaminess of the sheep's milk and then the balance with the cow's milk. So that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Well, the second one we will now go to is the Alp Blossom. And this one is fun.
So again, that's the one, you're going to see little Alp blossoms from the Alps rolled on the outside. And Rob, cheers. Next year, well, this year, we were supposed to go on our Alps tour, and we would have seen the production of this and how they roll the wheels into the, hand harvested blossoms from the Alps. This comes from the border of Bavaria, southern Germany, and Austria is Alp Blossom. But this is raw milk. This is an Alpine. So this one's more intense. This has got that Swiss cheese flavor, this Swissy flavor, right?
Kind of nutty.
So different from the Pilota.
There's even little craters where the holes are. You can kind of see. In mine, I can see it.
But you have to eat the blossoms. You're going to eat the blossoms, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm going to get yelled at again.
It'll be good with It's really good. It's not too intense.
And it's been sitting out until...
Yeah. That's why it's all... But it tastes better that way. Yeah. It tastes really good when it looks like that.
So, as Gina said, this is... it's raw milk. The rule, or I guess the law in this country is for us to have any raw milk cheese, it has to be aged over 2 months, 60 days. And this one is about 6 months in age. They can be a little bit older than that, but this one is about 6 months. It's pretty intense, And when a cheesemaker adds something to the cheese, whether it's on the rind or whether it's in the paste of the cheese, it usually is along with the cheese, the milk, an expression of their place, of their homeland.
Yeah.
And so the herbs and wildflowers and blossoms that are on the outside of the Alp Blossom include cornflower, lavender, marjoram, lauvage,
marigold,
and chervil. Did I say that right?
I think so.
But I mean, did you say marigold?
Yeah, I thought there was marigold.
Maybe there is, but this is all I have listed here.
Okay. But it's good. It just, like you said, it gets from the region.
Yeah.
And it's their terroir.
It's their terroir, and it's sort of like supposed to be what the cows eat. You know, as they march around the region, and it's, as we always talk about, it's all about the diet of the animals. That's what makes for such incredible cheeses.
Yeah.
It's a simple process. You know, you give the animals really good food. Yeah. Actually, the idea is we don't really give them anything. The earth gives them everything, and the less we give them, the better off we are. And in this region for cheese, the Alps, these alpine cheeses, they're probably the most known for diet of the animals.
Yeah. Because the animals truly eat only natural green, lush grasses, period, end of story. You get a crazy good milk when that happens.
And in the spring or summertime, there's a process called transhumance, and that's where the animals get marched up the mountain, and every day as they go higher and higher, they're eating, and every batch of grass that they come to is completely untainted.
Yep.
Dandelions,
pristine, whatever. They're eating
bright
everything.
Green, lush, and it is just like heaven for these animals.
Have you ever seen something so green?
No. Have I?
No. You saw them.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
I have not experienced transhumance though. I mean, I haven't seen the animals march up, but I've seen the pastures.
Next year, yeah.
And I mean, my mouth was watering looking at those pastures.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You just wanted to cut a salad. My aunt used to do that. I mean, they would go to the fields and just cut the grasses.
Yeah.
That was your salad. I mean, honestly, they were eating what the cows eat.
It's gorgeous.
It's so great.
I mean, and so I can just imagine, I've seen videos, Gina showed me videos of being up there when the cows are marching and all you just hear is the music.
The bells. Yeah.
The hills come alive with music.
Oh, I want to hear you sing. They do. If you're interested, you guys, on our YouTube channel, just type in Cow Parade or Cow Parade Austria, and you'll see one of the parades through Vorarlberg, which is in the heart of the Tyrol, and you'll see an example of what a cow parade is. And there are parades all over that region during the fall.
Vorarlberg is another one of the states, and that's actually where most of the cheeses come from. And I don't really know why. Maybe it just happens to be that way. Like Bavaria is where all the cheeses in Germany come from. But so these animals get milked. These cows get milked twice a day, and once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and it doesn't matter where they are, they still need to release that milk. Yeah. And so these cheeses oftentimes are really big wheels because they have a lot of cheese and they can only
a lot of milk.
Consume so much. So it's a lot of milk, and then they will dig in these sort of caves that they don't have naturally into the side of these mountains, and that's where they age the cheeses.
So cool.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
All natural.
Did we already talk about the pear? Because I think the pear, if you hadn't tried that, everybody, the Alp Blossom with that dried pear would be delicious.
I just mentioned that it was on the plate, but these pears look a little darker than some of the other ones that we've had.
Yeah, just like anything, you get a fruit that's dried at a different, temperature, different time of year. It's a different thing,
So and you guys probably mentioned or noticed that we always seem to put on Alpine-style cheeses and wash-dry and stinky cheeses.
We do, because they're good.
And if you're looking for kind of a really general rule of thumb for pairing, kind of traditional pairing with white wines, especially the white wines that come from Germany, Austria, and that part of Europe, especially, Alpines and washed rinds are the kind of the classics. And so we knew we would include a washed rind in the Backsteiner, which is the last one. That's washed rind is another way of saying stinky cheese.
Yes, it's the polite way, not polite, the marketable way.
It's the technical term.
The technical, sorry, Professor.
Come on.
Our friend George really thinks that the Alp Blossom brings out the wine more, and I agree with him. The Pilota was they were calm together. Neither outshone the other, but they didn't enhance. They were just good together. Where the Alp Blossom, it really made the wine sparkle.
Yeah. And that's kind of another thing that the Alpines are known for. They're very versatile, and because they have a lot of complexity, they do really bring a lot out of it.
They do.
One, they can stand up to the wine. Two, they bring a lot out of wines and beers.
And beers. They can melt, too.
Yeah.
These are the melters. These are your fondue cheeses. These are your melt in a mac and cheese, put on a burger, because they melt so smoothly and just release crazy aromas and flavor.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong, like, any way that you want to consume this cheese. You can't go wrong.
Fingers.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty.
Good stuff.
Professor, next. Fleur du Maquis.
Next one, we will move to the Fleur du Maquis, and that's another French one, but it is not from the French mainland. It is from the island of Corsica. There's another little dictator that comes from there. Speaking of little dictators, I think that little dictator might have influenced the other little dictator. I don't know.
They might have been besties.
You never know. But
Facebook friends.
Facebook friends. Maybe they were frenemies.
Frenemies, yes. Corsica, this is delicious. I'm going to tell you right now.
Weird texture. Like, it's such a, I don't even know how you describe that texture.
It's not spongy.
It's like, and I don't know if fudgy is the right word.
It doesn't coat the tongue like it when I think of fudgy.
It's like
Let's get words for this texture, everybody.
Yeah. It's mouth coating. It's very
Fleur du Maquis, the flowers of the Maquis.
Is it soapy?
A little soapy. Like, some people think tortilla chips are soapy. Do you think Fleur du Maquis is soapy? Do you think it's the rosemary making it soapy?
Not in a bad way. I feel like rubbery or soapy are bad words, but Fleur du Maquis. Maquis refers to the that underbrush or that kind of underbrush, like the off the road where they have like the kind of bushes or flowers, herbs, vegetation, and so it just kind of refers to what's on the rind of the cheese. I don't have a list of all of those.
Very heavy
herbs
rosemary.
And spices.
Very heavy rosemary, which
rosemary,
I love.
Probably thyme. Maybe even some peppercorns.
Marjoram.
Is there peppercorns on there?
They used to put juniper berries on top, and I haven't seen them come in with the juniper berries on top, but they used to have juniper berry.
It says fennel. I have something that says fennel is on there.
Ooh, I'm not getting the fennel.
I don't get the fennel either.
Good. I get rosemary all the way, but I love rosemary, so that's good. I love the fluffy. It's pillow. It's foamy. Ooh, that's a good one, Kay Evans. Foamy.
Because
it's kind of just, it's not, it doesn't bounce. Foamy's good. Thank you. Foamy. Like, all those fancy foams that the chefs are doing. Foamy. I like it. Foamy it is.
It's foamy.
Fleur is foamy. We'll remember that.
So I mentioned it's from Corsica, so it is a French cheese. I don't think we mentioned it is sheep's milk.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You don't get many sheep's milk. Pure sheep milk.
It is. I'm not sure if this is AOC or not. I'm not sure if this one is protected. There is a fresh cheese from the island that I know is AOC, and I can't remember the name. If anyone's on the internet, you can search. But it's I want to say it's called like Brocao or something like that. It's there's a fresh sheep's milk cheese from Corsica that is an AOC cheese. But I don't believe this one is AOC. It doesn't make it any better or worse. It's just the AOC is that regulatory governmental system that protects the names of their agricultural products.
Yeah.
So it's those really traditional old school cheeses. But when you're on an island out in the Mediterranean, there's a good chance that if you make fresh cheese, that means cheese that doesn't age at all, there's a good chance it's not going to leave the island. I've never seen that fresh cheese. I've never been to Corsica. You guys have.
We have. We did a stop in Corsica, and I did only see it at a little cheese shop there. You're right, because they don't make enough, and they're making it for the local population. And
so a lot of.
So we're lucky to get the Fleur du Maquis.
You know, we've seen thousands of cheeses at Venissimo, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of cheeses stay local. I mean, there's so many more than that just out there in the world. So you have to have a means to get cheese out of your little area, and then if it's a fresh cheese, it's only going to get worse with time, and so it becomes tricky logistically to move it.
Yep. I'm still going to do the idea, Rob. A little baby GoPro on a piece of cheese from the island of Corsica and watch what it takes to get from there to this plate. It would be so fascinating, right?
It really would be.
It's on the list. Yeah. But I like it. So the herbs on this make this more herby to me.
Well, so that's what I was thinking. So we've got a couple of the cheeses have been herbaceous, and as noted, the Grüner will have a lot of times kind of a peppery finish, and maybe the spiciness, the herbaceousness of the cheese will kind of bring that out. That would be complementary. So hopefully it does. And I think these types of cheeses are really, it would be too much for a milder or lighter white wine. Don't you think? Like it kind of needs a bigger wine.
I guess, but this one's feeling mild to me. But you're right. I think it's because you touched on earlier. Grüner's just meant to be had with food.
Yeah. So
it just blends so well. I don't see any clashing so far at all. It just goes completely together. Even though that's kind of minerally, the greenness, I don't know, comes out. But it's food friendly for sure.
Well,
I don't disagree.
So we had the two French cheeses. One was sheep, one was part sheep.
Yeah.
And then the Alp was cow. The Pilota was part cow.
Part cow.
The next one's cow. So we didn't have a goat cheese today.
No goat today. We got to go for the goats another time.
And I don't see a lot of goat cheeses or goats in the Alps. I mean,
no. That's called Ziege. If you ever see a cheese that says Ziege something, Ziegen, that means goat. And you know what? No, completely cow, overrun with cows.
Yeah.
Definitely cows predominant. Some sheep. There's not too much sheep either there. It's really a cow country.
And these sheep cheeses, they're more Mediterranean.
Yeah,
than
Mediterranean or Basque, right? Basque is huge with the sheep.
Yep.
So it is fascinating which regions have which animals.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, I think, a reflection of the terrain, like the
Sure.
There's some history involved too, and just like cheese making, wine making, a lot of it is based on the inhabitants, the people who were there, and sort of whatever they did in the place that they came from, they brought those techniques and those skills to the new place.
That's how you cross.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Wine production, or I guess the wine history in Austria, the grapes were first planted by the Celts, they were like a tribe, a European tribe.
Yeah, but the Celts, they don't have wine country. That climate is harsh.
Well, okay.
So tell me.
But they probably went all over they probably migrated all over the place.
Okay.
So then it was first the Celts, and then the Romans took over. So they, of course, they put the Italian twist on things, and they were very much into wine.
Which is fabulous. The
right?
Italians should put a twist on everything.
Yeah. And then from the Romans, after the Romans were out of there, it was the monks who came through, and they were kind of overseeing all the vineyards for many years in the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
And then it was to skip. The Middle Ages went on for a long time.
Yeah.
And then we'll fast forward to 1919, post World War I, and that was the Treaty of, is it Saint Germain? Do you know which one it was? I don't remember. Fact check me on that one. But I think it was the Treaty of Saint Germain, and that's what established all these places as countries. And Austria didn't have. They were kind of a poorer country for a while, and so they had grapes, but they weren't really looking to produce quality wines. They were just trying to feed
the masses,
and so it was all about quantity over quality.
Wow.
Until like the later part of the 20th century is when they realized that we have great terroir, we have great grapes, and I think they took a note from their neighbors in Germany, and they have all those strict wine laws and rules and regulations that we see with the German wines, and they started making great sweet wines and focusing on Grüner, and now some of the greatest white wines in the world come from
Austria. And when you look, you guys, on a label, if you see the word bio, that is their designation for it being organic. So when you see that, that means organic, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
Bio.
Cool. So shall we get into the Backsteiner?
We should get to the Backsteiner. I'm a little scared of the Backsteiner because I could smell that in the car as I just transported the cheese plate home. You
sure that wasn't your gym bag?
Could have been. Could have been. Backsteiner.
Do you know what Bach means?
Johann Sebastian Bach?
That's one of my cheese names, by the way.
What? Yeah, Johann Sebastian Backsteiner.
Yeah.
Weren't you also Pontius Pilota at one point?
I was.
I thought of that today. I was like, I think that was one of your names.
Pontius Pilota. I forgot
Pontius
about
Pilota.
that one. A little religious reference.
Backsteiner. Wow. No, you know what? It's yeasty. Smell that, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smell the Backsteiner, everyone, because that one, if you touch it, you're going to wash your hands later because it will stick. But it's washed wine. It's in the family of Limburger. That's the most famous, right? It's got to be the most famous stinky cheese in the world.
Yeah.
Limburger, yeah.
Limburger. Munster's really famous too.
Yeah.
And Munster, a lot of people know Munster because it was remade into a more tame kind of grocery store deli slice
with the orange color on the outside. That's not even.
But Munster is from eastern France. It's from Alsace, and Alsace, the border of Alsace, which is a region in France, in Germany, is the Rhine River. And actually that region has kind of gone back and forth. It's been in control of Germany and been in control of France over the years. But and Limburger is made in both Germany and Belgium.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Backsteiner. I got to see what it does with the wine. That is powerful. So this is one, Rob, this is so interesting to me. To me, Limburger smells worse, but tastes lighter. This one smelled lighter, but tastes stronger to me. So you can never judge the smell to the taste. You have to taste them together. Whoa. So Kevin said try it with the lemon pear jam. I'm going to do that because, wow, this is sticking with me as too strong. What do you think?
It's not too strong for me.
It's not too strong. You're okay. It is really strong for me. I'm going to try it with the jam.
What a wussy.
I'm a wuss. Shut up.
I'll try it with the jam too.
Okay, better with the jam. Ooh. Citrus with anything is good.
I can see the lemon zest in the jam too.
Yeah. Okay. It's way better with the jam. Now we got to do it with the wine though. Way better with the jam. Kay Evans, best tip ever. That's been my favorite pairing with the jam is this Backsteiner. Did you like it plain?
No, I mean, I do think it's better with the jam. But I oftentimes think that. I mean, it just gives it so much more depth. It's totally like one of my thoughts, and this is not a very complex description of the flavor, was that it was very salty. I actually thought it was very salty.
Oh, this is so funny.
Did somebody say that?
Yes, I was just, Carol and Allie thinks it's very salty. Yes, Carol. And Jason, you beat me to the punch. I don't like it with the wine.
Really?
No, it's something is off-putting. Like they clash. I like them on their own.
Me and Carol are just like this. We're like peas in a pod.
Me and Jason.
I thought it was very salty, but I also didn't get any bitterness on the cheese. I mean, it's not in any way past its prime. I mean, it's like in its prime.
It's a perfect position. I think it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. I would rather eat that with a pickle and a beer than I would with the jam and the wine.
But the jam balances it out perfectly.
Yeah, together. I just don't put it with this. I don't know. Yeah, this alone though with the Backsteiner was okay. Better.
Yeah, and what's kind of funny, like, and it sounds like a contradiction. Sometimes these stinky cheeses can be mild.
Yes, exactly. And
I mean, I've had Limburgers that were totally mild that I can just lop up and eat for days.
Lop up.
I'm such a pig. I'm trying to think of some other examples. I mean, Epoisse is another washed rind cheese, but that one's from Burgundy in France. But when it comes in, honestly, it's sort of mild when it first comes in. Yeah. And we wait a couple weeks on it, and then it gets to be softer and stronger. And then at the end of its life, the rind will get more crusty and more gritty, and it can take on a little bit of like a bitterness before it goes all the way bad.
Yeah.
But I don't have any bitterness on this.
No. The Backsteiner is perfect. That is, if you want
that's how
to
it's
know
meant
what
to be.
Backsteiner is, that is what it is. That is perfect to no end. Not with the wine, I agree. What is good with the wine is this pear.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Interesting. Does it bring out a little sweetness in the wine?
I think so, which is why I think this would be good with strudel, anything desserty. But it's so good with the dried pear. Rob, and it's good with the hazelnut. I just did the pear and the hazelnut together. Hazelnuts are good. They're kind of not used here. It's a sad day.
Filberts. Aren't they called filberts?
I think they do call them filberts here. Or are the filberts those big long pod ones?
I don't know. Can anyone help us with that? We need our fact checkers today.
We need fact checkers, obviously. But wow, that was a fascinating journey. I loved all the cheeses with the wine.
Isn't there a cartoon called Filbert?
That's Gilbert.
Dilbert, or is it Dilbert?
Dilbert, Filbert. You could do a whole cartoon of nuts. All the different nuts have personalities. Pixar. I'm calling Pixar.
And they could be called like the nuts, or
You're nuts.
Yeah, you're nuts.
Go nuts.
Something stupid.
Something.
I was thinking about
wow
when you were saying how the Backsteiner or whatever, like a cheese might not be your bag. It might not be your favorite.
Your cup of tea, as you said
earlier.
Your
cup of tea, but it's like. I used to watch people. I used to work in a fine dining restaurant, and I remember and I used to watch my dad do this when I was a kid. When they would come to the table, and they would have you taste the wine, smell the cork, and all that.
Oh right. What are you gonna say and do?
Well, I didn't know this as a kid. I thought that you taste it, and if you don't like it, then you send it back. But that's not what you do at all.
Okay. What do you do? Because I did that once because I didn't like it.
No.
So I send it back.
No.
Why?
If you taste it and smell it to see if it's corked.
Yeah, but I didn't like it, so I sent it back.
You can't do that.
Why can't I?
Because it's if you ordered it, it doesn't matter if you like it or not.
But what if it's corked and bad?
Then you send it back.
That's what I'm saying.
No, you send it. Yes, then you should send it back if it's corked. You can't send it back just because you don't like the taste of it.
Gotcha. Yes, that would be rude. Okay. Okay, that I agree.
Oh gosh, you're getting me so worked up today. But with the cheese, my point with the cheese is like, you sometimes people, you can bring a cheese back or decline a cheese. You taste. We have people taste.
Yes.
And the point is like to know
to
whether or not you like it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you wouldn't like return a cheese because you didn't like the taste of it, like with a bite out of it. But you could return a cheese if it were bad, if it were past its prime. I mean, I just was thinking about that.
It's a distinction. That is true.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, when we do the classes, we're going to get back to doing the classes in person eventually, someday. I mean, I'm not in any rush to get back to that.
Exactly, because this is too fun.
We're going to keep doing this. But, we do some of these classes, we serve like 10 or 12 cheeses. I mean, they're pretty intense.
Yeah.
And
a feast.
And I always say at the beginning, I'm like, first of all, don't feel like you need to eat everything. It's a lot of food because
everybody eats everything.
But everyone eats everything.
Yeah.
But it's like I also am like, don't be embarrassed or ashamed to say if you don't like. You should not like everything we put out. There's going to be 12 cheeses. Chances are you're not going to like a couple of them, and that's good. Part of this is like
deciding what you like.
Exploring and figuring out what it is you like and don't like. That's all part of the process.
Let's see if you like marzipan. Because Kay Evan thinks it's good with the Backsteiner, so there's still some left. You have to taste those together. I'm going to eat it by myself.
I'm with you. Come on.
I'm eating it by myself.
Chopped
on
liver?
Its own. I've had too much Grüner Veltliner. This is a very mild marzipan. Sometimes it's very almondy and very sweet. This is much more natural flavors. But again, marzipan is simply like sugared almond paste.
It is good.
Isn't it good?
We had it with a Backsteiner.
Did you do the Backsteiner?
Yeah.
And it is really good. So Kay Evans loves that one.
Good one.
Is it better with the wine too? Like if you put the two together? Let's try that. I think we need to make a truffle. Backsteiner, marzipan, and hazelnuts.
Ooh, yeah.
Like a chocolate truffle.
I bet
Kay
took our advice about like pulling out all the different stuff in her cupboard and like pairing it with the cheeses last week or the last one we did. Because Kay's tasting everything with everything. I like it. I like your style.
Cheers to that. That is good with the Backsteiner. It would be good with the Pilota. I'm not sure. Chocolate and rosemary together, perhaps.
Yeah.
The marzipan with the Fleur du Maquis.
Chocolate's fun. I mean, a lot of these artisan chocolate places around town, they come up with all kinds of fun, funky, weird combinations that you would think would not work, but they tend to work. And they kind of use the same ideas when it comes to putting things together. They can go complementary, contrasting. They do spicy, salty, whatever. They add nuts for texture. There's so many different things that you can do. Chocolate is so it's so fun and interesting.
So, do you love the mole sauce? Like
I do.
In Mexican cooking,
Yeah.
I love that pudding chocolate with salty meat. I just love that. So, pudding chocolate with that salty Backsteiner.
Oh yeah,
fabulous.
Well,
right?
again, it's not the most like I don't know. I don't feel like it's the deepest description of the flavor I was experiencing, but I was getting just a salty sweet thing with the chocolate and the Backsteiner.
Don't you want both?
Yeah.
So what if we did? Okay, getting crazy now because the book Salt, Acid, Fat, Heat. The acid of the jam, the lemon, the citrus acid with the chocolate sweet with the salty Backsteiner could be good together as well, right?
My head is like...
It's going to explode. Don't let it explode. Steve asked about the rind on the Backsteiner. Yeah. So, again, that's just because they wash that cheese, and when you wash it, it promotes bacterial growth, and that's usually turns the cheese a color of that pinkish red. And then that bacteria causes these natural aromas that make it a stinky cheese. So typically when you see something, Steve, that is that pinkish red rinded, it has been washed. What has it been washed in? Salt water, brine, beer, wine. What else have you seen washed in? They've walked in everything.
Spirits.
Spirits, anything. They wash in almost anything. But just that moisture creates that bacterial growth.
It makes a bacteria growth, and it's called Brevibacteria linens, long word. A lot of times it's abbreviated to just B linens, but it's that pinkish or reddish, orangish color that you see on cheese rinds, and it will give it a little texture. Totally edible. Again, it's up to you whether or not you want to eat it. Gina, is this the Backsteiner from Germany or Austria?
This is Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's Germany.
So this one is also nicknamed Brick of Gold.
Brick of Gold.
Brick of Gold.
Backsteiner. Yeah, Stein is stone. It doesn't look like a stone. It comes more like a brick.
Yeah, that's it's more like a rectangle shape, like a Limburger. And the guy who makes this also makes a cheese called Adelager.
Oh yeah, which is also pungent.
There's a cheese called Adelager from Germany, and actually I was trying to give Gina a cheese name Adele Lager one time.
You did, Adele Lager.
Adele-Lager.
I'll have to come up with a song to go with my Adele Lager title.
We're gonna save some for the Sunday sessions.
Wait till you see what I have for peaches. Georgia peaches.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I got it. Yeah, it's good. That's awesome. Again, back to the rind being red. Jason asked.
Yeah.
Rob, that's the B linens, and that's that moisture, right? That reddish color is that's a natural, right?
Yeah, I know, and Jason is probably familiar with a lot of the washed rind cheeses that we've had. Some of them are redder than others. I mean, so this one is kind of, to me, kind of orangey, light orange to pinkish in color, or salmon maybe color. But Epoisse, and Epoisse's is actually washed in a liqueur. Speaking of different things,
liqueur,
and it's almost it's a deep red, almost like a burgundy color. That's funny because it's from Burgundy, or like an orangey burgundy. There's one from Northern California from Cowgirl Creamery called Red Hawk, and the red in the name just refers to the color of the rind. It's a little bit more red. What are some other ones? Like Munster can be very orangey or reddish.
Langres can be reddish. Chimay, because it's washed in the beer, that's reddish. Limburger, of course, we touched on, reddish.
Do you know who the Dolly Langres is?
Oh.
Or Chimay West? Sorry. These are all washed rind.
I do know Lincoln Poacher.
You mean Abraham Lincolnshire Poacher? These are such insider cheese jokes. We apologize for this.
Yeah, exactly. But it's coming. You're going to learn all about these at some point. How about washed rinds with whiskey? Do you know one washed in whiskey yet?
So there are a number that are soaked in whiskey. Yeah. So we've had cheeses that they actually will wrap it in leaves and soak the leaves in whiskey.
That's true.
There was a blue cheese from, I want to say, Tennessee that was, it was soaked. Whiskey. Yeah, it was like, or bourbon maybe. It was bourbon. I want to say it's from Tennessee, and they soak it in a bourbon or a whiskey.
Yum.
I forget the name of it.
What if you just drop a piece in a cup of bourbon and eat it an hour later?
Oh my gosh,
it could be good, right?
There's I'm trying to think of some other. There's like whiskey cheddars, but they get pressed into the cheddar, not washed. Yeah. So I can't think off the top of my head of any whiskey
opportunity
washed rind cheeses. And one, I guarantee you there's something out there, but two, I promise you somebody has tried it, and there might be a reason why they're not on the market, and it could be like they just don't play well together, or they don't
or
they don't keep
age.
something, or the person just drinks all the whiskey and
there's none left
hammered,
to wash
passes out, and forgets about making cheese.
Could definitely be. Did you have a favorite today, Rob?
Oh,
would you say? Or just
So
overall?
I love the Alp Blossom, and that style is just my favorite.
Warms your heart.
Yeah.
Graf, you're of Germanic
Graf.
ancestry. Graf.
We were. My family is from. I think that trip where we saw you guys in Austria, we had been in, or maybe it's a different one, but we were in Luxembourg, where a lot of our family is from.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We found a town where my dad had traced back our family tree, and we found a cemetery in this town in Luxembourg where our family came from, and we found a bunch of Grafs. And my name is spelled Graff, and but these people's name was spelled Graaf. So 2 A's, 1 F.
2 A's, 1 F.
And
do you think it's Americanized with 2 F's?
I think when we came through Ellis Island that they changed it to Graff.
Rob Graff.
Rob Graff.
Rob Graff here. I was a Lowen, like Lowenbrow. Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah. Well, Graf means count, correct?
Oh, are you a count?
Yeah, so I was probably a count in a...
Well, I'm a baroness.
in a former life.
You're a count. I like it.
But not Dracula.
Count. Well, awesome, Rob. I loved all of these. I love the Grüner Veltliner. I will try to seek them out any chance I get, because I just think they're easy, they're fun, they're summertime.
Yeah.
Just something to add to your wine repertoire. And then impress your friends with your pronunciation. And,
tell them Grüner means green.
Grüner, yes.
And tell them all those famous people from Austria, like Hugh Jackman.
Gert. Hugh Jackman, stop. Sydney.
Took you a minute.
Yeah, I'm a little slower now. Just taking it. But awesome. What's next?
Okay, Sunday. Next one is Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. So this Sunday we are going to do a little cooking demo.
Yes. Cooking with cheese.
With our chef, in-house chef. We have a couple in-house chefs, but Nate Gibson, who used to be at Juniper and Ivy down in Little Italy, is super creative, super fun, and just totally fun guy just to kind of chop it up with and talk food and cheese.
And questions, too. This is a chance. Techniques and all this stuff. And I learned a lot from him because he's behind the scene of Juniper and Ivy, which is, one of our top restaurants here in town. So it was neat to learn behind the scenes secrets and tricks.
Yeah, really creative. So we're gonna do. We picked a theme for this one, and the theme is peaches and cream, or peaches and creamy cheese. Yeah. And we're gonna have a little plate from our favorite cheesemaker out of Georgia.
Georgia. The Georgia peach.
So see the tie in there?
Yes, and
Brilliant.
it's delicious. I tasted today, Rob.
Yeah. So awesome cheeses coming from down south, and then Nate's gonna make some recipes kind of focused around peaches.
Yep,
They're gonna do different things with peaches, and
'tis the season.
Yeah, so it should be fun.
Yeah, should be really good. So we appreciate it as always, everybody. Thank you so very much. Enjoy your cheeses. You know what, Rob? The votes are in. Pilota was a favorite today.
Yeah,
I could eat that all the
too.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's delicious cheese. So yay, Pilota. Yeah.
Hooray!
So hooray!
Go Basque.
Do you know how to say goodbye in Austrian? Of course you do. In Austrian, in German, you do.
That's like saying Mexican for Spanish.
For Spanish, that is, it's true, right?
Bye in German.
Come on. So long. Farewell.
Oh,
come on!
I don't know the next line. So long, farewell. I bid you
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen und alles Gutes bis nächste Mal.
You know what? Sorry, my my grandpa taught me one thing.
Okay.
He said, "Du Distein, dummer Esel."
Okay. Everybody learns this. Everybody. Du bist.
Du bist.
Ein.
Du bist ein.
Dummer.
Esel. Esel.
We don't need to transcribe that.
My dad told me it means I'm a donkey.
Yes. Not just a donkey.
A donkey.
A dumme donkey.
All right.
Okay.
We were trying to say bye.
We're trying to just say so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, and not au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, gute Nacht.
How about Peace out.
Peace out, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody.
We love you.
Yes,
Bye.
take care. Bye.
Cheers.
36.
Yeah. Woo-hoo.